Hello and welcome to Profiles in Risk. This is your host, Tony Cañas, and today I have with me Assaf Henkin, who is the co-founder, president, and COO of Sproutt, and that's Sproutt with two T's, Sproutt. Assaf, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome, my pleasure. So we always give the guest a chance to give kind of the elevator pitch. So what is Sproutt?
Sproutt is a life insurance platform that uses proprietary data in conjunction with a few other data sources for a better assessment, understanding, and profiling of consumers to enable a buying journey that is much more engaging, convenient, faster and accurate, both for the customer, for the end consumer, and for agents. We do that by starting the process with questions that we ask to better understand the lifestyle of the consumer. It's a new method, it's a new take that we're bringing to the life insurance industry. We combine that with what is called clinical data in the industry, financial data, that goes into what we call the pre-assessment phase. So when we're dealing directly with consumers, that happens behind the scenes when you come to our website. On our agent platform, it's what we call smart routing. So when an agent wants to sell to a customer, they share that data. And then the agent has all the smartness of the system to better route and select a product for a customer. Then we continue into the underwriting process, and at the end of the process, a product is being sold. Obviously, we first recommend, and the agent and the customer need to want the product, accept the terms, and that's at the end of the process. A more, I would say, better fitting product, something that is really based on the customer needs is sold. And the process, both for customer and agent, is something that is faster, more convenient, more efficient.
Okay, I like the focus on the better underwriting. The focus is on the quality of life of the person, which obviously in the life space, it makes a huge difference in
Right.
the price that we can get you if you're healthy and you keep yourself active and all the things that I don't do. So that makes a lot of sense. When it comes to the product, are you are you doing one specific product or a couple of products, or are you doing almost a full suite of, right? So in life we've got I always assume that the listeners are PNC heavy. So for the PNC people in life, we have term life, which is cheap and for a limited period of time. And if you get to the end and you haven't died, good for you, and you get nothing back. And then there's a whole suite of value growing products.
Permanent products, permanent products, combination products. Yeah.
So are you focused on one specific product, or kind of what's the suite of products?
Yeah, no. So let me take a step back and I'll talk a bit more, and then I'll answer your question. But first of all, we're very new to the insurance space, life insurance. When I say we, it's us three founders and the core team at Sproutt. Our background coming into this industry was consumer data. We ran two companies. We founded them, ran them out of San Francisco, the Bay Area. The second one was acquired, and following the acquisition, we came out of that experience wanting to do something big, wanting to impact a big industry, which insurance definitely is. But we learned a lot. We're still learning. And the first thing that we noticed when we came into the insurance space is the power that data has And when you go into personal lines, into life and health specifically, it's the understanding of that specific person's lifestyle, health, financial status really dictates what you can sell, the selling process, the underwriting, and the product. So the platform that we developed, and it took us about 1.5 years to really get to a point where the product was ready to use it commercially, takes into account the quality of life index, which is a proprietary way that we developed to better understand how you live your life. We combine that with other data sources that give us a perspective on your financial status, on your health status, et cetera. And then we connect that to working with reinsurance companies, with carriers, to traditional ways of putting risk pricing and an offer together. Now, this platform that we developed, we first took it to a more simple product, as you said, to a term product, right? Because that's sort of the simplest way to get started. But today on our product, we've added a few permanent products. We've added combination products. And we're going to add more. We have disability, critical illness. So I think the right way to think about it is that any product in the life arena that understanding the customer's lifestyle better will help you sell that product and price that product. That is what that's where we want to be. And we're adding more products as we go along.
It makes perfect sense. And where normally I towards the end of the conversation I go to the how did the idea come. So I love that we've already kind of looked at that, and yes, it makes sense. Insurance is the original data industry.
Mm-hmm.
However, historically, we haven't had the best technology, and there's historical reasons for that. We were some of the first to digitize back in like the 60s, and then we are heavily regulated, at least here in the States. So we've been protected. So that's right. The pressure to improve our technology really wasn't there until just the last few years with the insurtech revolution. The last 5 to 8 years. So we're bad at technology, but everything we do is all about data, right? There's no physical piece to what we do, much less in the life insurance space, right? In the P&C space, yes, there are times where a mechanic is looking at a damaged car or at a home that suffers some damage, but in life, it's quite simply all about data, and absolutely better data is a huge advantage, right? And
right.
So yeah, that makes perfect sense. And the MGA approach in life, I think makes a lot of sense, because if you've got a great funnel to bring people in, and if your application process is the least painful, because nobody wants to buy life insurance, right?
Right.
You're going to have a massive advantage. So you mentioned before we started recording that you guys are an MGA, right?
Right.
How many carriers in the background, or
right.
like how does that work, and how do you guys go about finding those carriers?
Right. Yeah. Let me touch on that. But first, I want to say, as a newcomer to this industry, I don't think that the technology sucks or is not good. I think the technology in some areas is very good, actually. I think in some areas there's some, I don't know, neglect, let's just say, right? So maybe the user interface of systems doesn't look as slick as other consumer products, and maybe integration between systems. We're seeing it now when integrating with carriers, like the APIs are not fully, modern and advanced. But I think in some areas, the technology does exactly what it needs to do. As a newcomer, I don't know, at first you think, yeah, it's not that sophisticated, but after 3.5 years now, I actually know, it's not the case. I think that, as an MGA in the life space, the advantages that we're able to leverage the platform that we built that knows how to identify, classify, route people, recommend products. So it's almost sort of the 3/4 of the whole, of the full experience. And the risk taking, the regulatory obligations, all that we partner for, right? And I think, we might change that over time, but that's where we feel very good about today. We partner not with too many carriers, actually. We're selecting them carefully, and they're selecting us as well. And we're building very tight relationships with, I would say, 2, reinsurers to date, and let's say 5 to 6 carriers. And the products that we have on the platform, the way we look at it is, we want to have the right products for the specific audiences and target customer groups that we're going after, either directly or through the agents, agencies, brokerage firms that we're working with. We're not about having everything for everyone, at least not at this point. We're focusing a bit more. But even when you're focusing, when it comes to a life product, there's always going to be, you'll need some backup, because people are not going to go through the underwriting process 100% of the time. So you need, a product for people that are less healthy. You need a product for people that are looking for lower coverages, older people, younger people. So we're looking for all that. But the essence of our platform is that, we want to think, and we do that, better and better as time goes by. We're able to find the what we call the hidden health in many different types of people. So even, people that come to us and they write us reviews, and I do nothing there's nothing healthy about me. I just sit around all day. But going through our questionnaire, it's very intuitive. It's gamified. We're able to detect a few things that, maybe on the onset don't look that, healthy or that special. But even if you walk twice a day to the park, or, even if you ride your bike, on the weekend, or, do something like that, it's still better than nothing. And most often, if you combine that with a few other data points, you're able to surface and to enable that customer access to products and to an underwriting process that is advantageous.
I've got to say, just over the last few minutes, I went ahead and did the application on the website. And I it's been a long time since I've looked at a life insurance application. I found it very, very friendly, and some like downright cute. It was kind of fun to go through it. Like it's the UI is very well designed,
Thank you.
and it asked me a lot of questions, but they're well asked. They're asked in a way
Right.
that didn't get annoying,
Right.
and also quite clearly it responded. It responded to what I was telling it. What I mean by that, for example, I don't exercise, but I do sleep well, and I am careful with what I eat. I'm keto, and basically so I have a bit of a weird lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt that it was well captured.
No,
And
so first of so yeah, sorry to interrupt,
no,
but
no, no problem.
first before I forget, so first of all, that's a great example, right, of detecting things that are healthier about you. And and it's a trend. We're not going to talk about wellness and all that, but there's definitely a growing trend of people that are aware. And even if you don't exercise, you sleep better, you're aware of what you're eating. And that's part of what we do. What you're saying about the questions, we do ask more questions than your typical, quoting or life insurance buying process, but it's not mandatory. I don't know if you've noticed, but you could have skipped that and go quickly to get a quote
Mhm.
or shared more information. The reality is that 85% of people do not skip. And we were very surprised by that. We thought that
That
it's
is
going to be
impressive. Yeah.
much lower, right? And so, it told us over time that if you do it in the right way, people actually want to give you that information, and they don't mind. And actually, people that end up buying a policy from us, 96% of them complete the full set of questions. So it's a very good indicator that people are serious about the process, and the data is useful, meaning that now there is clear correlation, scientific correlation between sleep and mortality, between the number of steps that you take per day and mortality. And those are actually, or at least some of them, are better predictors than some of the traditional questions on a life insurance form, like BMI, for example, right? Steps today is a better indicator for mortality than BMI. And yet our industry has still not adopted steps versus BMI, right?
Makes sense. Makes sense. So yeah, I found it very engaging. So um, what what when you partner with brokers, right? A good
Mm-hmm.
half of my audience, so half my audience is carriers,
Yeah.
and I'm guessing they're PNC heavy. But if we do have live carriers listening, you
Mm-hmm.
need a front of the house like this, just so you know. But for brokers, agents and brokers, that and again, my audience is PNC heavy, right? So
Right.
PNC agents generally are not life focused because life is harder
Sure.
to sell. But
Mm-hmm.
how do you partner with brokers?
Right.
What does that look like?
Uh, Great question. Thanks for bringing that up. So first of all, we started out. We ran a direct to consumer platform for about a year and a half, collecting tens of thousands of applications and a lot more data. And about 8 months ago, we took all of that learning, all of that data, and created and launched an agent portal. And that agent portal takes into account all the learnings that we have into what we call smart routing for a broker, for an agent. And what the smart routing does, it essentially saves the hassle and the calculation that an agent needs to do and the lookup. So the agent can come in, can put in information for a customer. After they've done maybe 4 or 5 questions, there's a prediction measurement that tells the agent what is the likelihood of that customer to qualify, to get underwritten and qualify for a specific product. As you go on and add more information, that score gets stronger and stronger. So first of all, we save time, right? So you don't waste time going down the full path only to learn that the customer is not going to get accepted for that product. The second thing that we did is we added 3 ways for agents and brokers to sell on our platform. You can either do it by filling the information for a customer. You can send the customer a link. So they take the link and they do everything on their own, and the agent gets the credit and the commission for that. Or you can start the application for them and then send them the link. Okay, so 3 ways to sell. Very, we did that with a lot of input from agents. And for PNC shops and for PNC agencies, we just signed 2 fairly large ones. We're bringing another tool which is how can a PNC agent that is not life licensed sell life, right? As you said, it's complicated. A PNC agent doesn't want to do it, but you have a customer. Adding a life component is a great benefit for the customer. It adds stickiness to your relationship. You have your annual review. You want to offer that. If you're not licensed, we give you a custom URL. We provide you with an email explanation. So we provide marketing materials, custom URL with your ID as an agent. The customer clicks, lands on a landing page with it, customized. It could be with your picture, with your name, blah, blah, blah. He goes and buys digitally from us. But you, as a non-licensed, you don't need to wait for that. You'll get compensated on the quote, or maybe even post the quote. So we don't, as a PNC agent that's not licensed, you'll get a referral fee that is still fairly competitive, I think, without getting into numbers, from what I hear in the PNC world. And the customer gets an opportunity to buy life in a very convenient way. And that's something that we've learned by just conversing with PNC agencies and brokers.
That's a very creative way to handle that. I like that. Yeah, you can't pay them a commission if they're not licensed and they're not doing the work. So it makes sense. Makes perfect sense. Okay, so you really built this to be a good match for most agents. Are there requirements for an agency to sign up? What I mean, do you need? Are you only looking to partner with agencies that have a significant flow of life business, or are the small?
No. The platform is open for anywhere from an independent agent, that runs their own shop and and buys their own leads and what have you, all the way to larger companies that have hundreds, if not thousands, of agents. And also, as I said, life and PNC, even affinity groups that want to offer a life insurance component to their members. The way that we built it, because of the fact that we're able to compensate license and non-license in a very intuitive, simple way, opens those opportunities. And for those agents, it's, I don't want to say the easiest, but it's definitely one of the easiest ways to sell from, what we've seen so far in the market.
That makes perfect sense to me. Yeah, it looks like a great tool.
No, it is, and obviously I'm not objective, but I can tell you that the feedback so far has been very good. And as we're adding more products and more tools, everything is based on learning. Going back to our history in our prior companies, and what you said earlier about technology and the life insurance space, we come from an agile methodology sort of mindset where you add things and you fix as you go. What we've learned so far in this space is you need to be a bit more buttoned down, a bit more baked before you release features, because it's not to talk about regulatory and compliance, which you need to obviously take into account, but also the scale, the number of agents, the importance this product is, for the consumer, for the agent. So that's definitely a shift that we did in coming into this industry. But our platform, yeah, it's robust, and it's very, I would say, accessible to agents of all different kinds.
Perfect. When this goes live, I'll tag you on LinkedIn, and I'll include the link to the website. Thank you so much for coming on today. It's been
thank you.
And I've got to say, this is the first time that I actually look at the tool and I'm like, oh, let me see if I can get through it, like quickly enough that it's not disruptive to the podcast, and it did. So it definitely, yeah, it's definitely well designed. Thank you so much for coming on.
That's great to hear. Thank you for having me. It was fun, and yeah, looking forward to hearing the live one.